People these days can't really agree on much, but one thing I know we can agree on is how much we hate student loan debt. So I'm going to hit you with something I love talking about: free college. One thing I really like to say, and I say it all the time, is that real estate is the most reliable and most accessible means of building wealth available to an entire generation of people. But what does that mean? When I say that, what do you hear? Yeah, if I can buy a house, it'll be worth more later, and when I sell it, I get that money. Yes, objectively true, but not exactly what I'm talking about. So, let's talk about what equity is. Equity is the difference between what your house is worth today and what you owe on it. If you have zero mortgage, you own that house outright, you have 100% equity. If you've recently purchased a property with, say, a 3.5% down payment, you have probably about 96.5% equity, right? It's just the difference between value and what you owe. Real estate is one of the only assets that you know is going to appreciate reliably over time. In fact, real estate appreciates at about, on average, 4% every single year. So, as the value of your property increases 4% every year, and you're paying down a little bit of your principal, your mortgage, every single year, as those two numbers grow further and further apart, your equity goes up. Let's say I own a house today. That house is worth $500,000, and I owe a mortgage on that property of about $300,000. The difference between those two numbers, $200,000. I have $200,000 in equity. With a home equity loan or a home equity line of credit, like I was just talking about, I can actually spend that equity without actually selling my house. That, to me, is one of the biggest things, if not the single biggest things, that people don't understand about what to do with that equity besides selling the property. When I say that line, real estate is the most reliable and most accessible means of building wealth available to an entire generation of people. That's what I mean. I can take that equity and use it. Now, what can I use it on? I can redo my kitchen. I can go to Italy. I can pay down some credit card debt. Or I can buy another property. You can use the equity that you have taken out of your current property and use it as the down payment on the next property. So let's talk about how I did this to leverage my own life, my own situation. I was able to take a large part of the equity that I have in my current primary residence, use it as a down payment on a 3-family home, okay? So I'm gonna give you fake numbers, but let's say that my mortgage on that property was about $1,500. And the total rent that I take in on that property every month is about $3,500. That means that I am gross profit $2,000 every month. Now listen, all you landlords who already know about this, I know you're gonna say, but Dave, you have to spend a lot of that money to keep the property up. You're gonna have vacancies, blah, 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 blah. I get it. I know I'm not keeping all of it, but I'm keeping some of it. But that's not the only point. But remember what we were talking about. Real estate is an asset that also appreciates over time, right? So if I buy this property now and I hold it for, say, 15 years at 4% every single year, that's compounding. That's 4% 15 times. Take somebody like me, maybe somebody like you. I have young children. My kids are both in elementary school. They are 10 and 7 years old as I record this today. Their college is already paid for. How so? The building that I own, including purchase price and renovation, I have spent about $250,000 on this property. Today it's worth about $550,000, and I could sell it in like a half hour. That's $300,000 that I have. Imagine when my oldest is 18, nearly a decade from now. What's it going to be worth then? Well, try another 8 years times 4%. I sell the house then. I put it towards her college education. I save the rest. I put it towards my son's college education. They graduate college debt-free. Now think about yourself in your own life. How many of you didn't pay off your student loans until you were halfway through your 30s, maybe even later? How encumbering was that to you? How difficult, how frustrating was that? What I'm telling you is that purchasing property now, letting equity build over time, using equity to purchase other property, and repeating the process over and over and over again is a way to avoid student debt, or any kind of debt you want. Because I practice what I preach, I'm not just telling you a made-up story. Well, the story I just told you is real, and I'm doing it again. Today, as I record this, is a Friday. 3 days from now, next Monday, my wife and I are closing on a home equity line of credit again. We're going to pay down the entirety of our credit card debt. The credit card debt we have, we pay about 28% per month on. The home equity line of credit, we're going to pay about 7%. It saves us like $400 a month. All we had to do was buy property, let it appreciate in value, and use it smartly. If you want to find out how to do this, I'm happy to talk about it. This is what I do all day, every day, all the time. My email address is in the description below. Check that out. Send me a note. Say you want to talk about free college, and you'll get a call.